Hey, welcome everyone. Just writing the time. Okay, so today we're doing guitar practice again. Oh, good. It said what this is. I just put suddenly guitar practice and contemplation. So I'm starting a little late today because I'm still a mom. And it wasn't a lot of mom duties, actually. It was other stuff that I had to take care of. But, so we're here, though. And so welcome right now or later. What happened the other day was that I was reading this psalm with my mom. We go through different scriptures or whatever that's called a lectionary. It takes you through. But anyway, this psalm was going on, and I didn't pull it up because I didn't know I was going to be talking about it. But it was talking about how God shows up for the orphan, the strangers, the orphans, and the widows. And I'm a psychologist in my day job. So I was looking at it like, wow, when you leave the patterns that you grew up with, we get addicted to old patterns. They even said there's neural pathways, and we get, this is why do people, there's a verse about, as a dog returns to his vomit, so fool returns to his folly. There's my dog. She's super cute, right? I've never seen her maybe once go to vomit, to try to get food out of a vomit. You don't want to go back to something you're throwing up. That's why they say what God has helped free you from, any kind of slavery that we've had from before, whether you believe in God or not. It's like if life has taught you, to be free of a certain pattern or certain toxic behavior or certain people-pleasing behavior you had before or whatever, then never go back to that. Don't go back looking for food like a dog returning to look for food in vomit. You don't need that. That's this lack mentality. That's this mentality that you're going to find, I think I'm going to find something good there because all I had was vomit as a child, in a way. This is kind of gross. And so there's this awesome verse, and I know I have it in my journal. I'm not going to, it's in one of these. Ooh, it might be in this one. It might be in my Van Gogh one. Let's see if I have it, but I'm not going to go searching through here. It was so cool. Let's see if I have it written down suddenly. Wow. So, but anyway, so I looked at it like, I think it was after. Maybe it was. I think it was after this. I had this huge revelation. It feels like you're getting enlightenment all over again. Sometimes you break free from an old pattern, and it's kind of like once the Israelites got out of Egypt, let's say, out of slavery, that's like a representation of us leaving slavery. And it's like then they're stuck in the wilderness, and the Pharaoh is coming after them with an army. And they're like, weren't there enough graves in Egypt? Why, Moses, did you take us out? Why don't we go back? Because they're tempted to go back to slavery. And it's like, why would you ever go back to that? But there are emotional and mental patterns that it's just like, oh, I'm so good at being a people pleaser. And so you get an emotion, not emotional. What is it called? I'm in a different mindset because I'm in my music mindset sometimes. So it's like, it's a chemical, like epinephrine, or like a chemical, I forgot the chemical, like dopamine, or like you get a slight chemical release of, oh, well, I know how to be a people pleaser. And so you're going back to that familiar place. And so it gives you this chemical high, and you actually have to learn how to detox from those highs to change that pattern. And so you have to go to this unfamiliar place and be a stranger. So you're a stranger. But it says in this verse, so like I hear it as a psychologist too, like, and I meditate on these things. It's like God protects the stranger. And so he's like, don't worry, you can go in this new place. And, you know, Jesus says, in order to be my disciple, you have to leave your mother and father and come and follow me. Well, what does that mean? Sometimes it's, you know, their patterns, whatever limiting belief patterns they have, the familiar spirits or whatever is on the bloodline, whatever old, broken down, unconscious, like if your parents were prejudiced, let's say, and you're just like, I don't look at people's color of their skin. Like that doesn't make any sense to me to judge a person by their skin color. But if they kept saying, oh no, you're going to be in big trouble if you don't operate this way. Well, once you know better, you're just like, I'm not going to judge people on that, or like what clothes they're wearing, or if they're wearing certain brand, or if their Instagram or their YouTube or whatever looks a certain way, then, or if they're popular, if their videos, you know, it's like people will judge because of their insecurity on the most superficial standards. And it's like, you know, it's so weird. It's so strange because you're, you know, you could be blocking out gold. It's like Tolkien, J.R. Tolkien says, all that glitters is not gold. You know, all who wander are not lost. You wander because you're leaving that old familiar. Like Abraham left his family land. God told him to go out to a new place. And so he says he watches over the stranger and the orphans, which are, you feel like you're an orphan when you leave your family of origin. When you're in your family in childhood, it's kind of like my way or the highway. And so you learn on pain of death, I better follow their same pattern. So you become really loyal to broken, toxic, limiting patterns that keep you stuck. And all you have to do is break through the ceiling. All you got to do is a couple push-ups at a time, and then you get to 50, right? I just or all you do is like do the splits a few times like this on your roller skates, and then you get lower and lower and you practice the splits, and you can do a disco spin and splits on your skates. You know, it's like, it looks like magic, but it's just discipline and daring. This woman, Latoya Okia, I love her, Okeia. She says like, you got to dare to go beast mode for the kingdom of God, right? Jesus says, seek first the kingdom of God and his right wayness, this way of love, this narrow path of real love, agape love, divine love, which goes beyond yourself. But it's not a people-pleasing thing. It's so weird. It's serving, it's humble, but it's not people-pleasing, not at all. And people don't get it. You know, they're like, why aren't you being a people-pleaser? You know, I thought that was you got to do that. It's like, no, I didn't sign up for that. I please God. And it's service to him is freedom. But anyway, it's never people-pleasing when you please God, because God doesn't need anything. You know, you walk in holiness and obedience because we're created to walk that way. We're created. It protects other people when we walk in holiness. It helps you love more genuinely when you're not putting your own flesh, like what can you do for me, in front of everything else, right? When you learn not to yield to your own, they call it the three enemies of the soul, the world, the flesh, and the devil, you know. We can talk about those some other time. But anyway, so this verse was so cool because it covers all three areas where you're normally afraid to change. It says, the I am that I am, God, protects the strangers in the land, the sojourners, those who are, you know. My friend Elliot, he had a song that came out after he's no longer with us on this planet. Here it is. Oh, yes. I got it. I have it. Let me see if I have anything personal on this part. Well, I'm just having a prayer here, but... Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. I'm going to cover that part out. Or just because it's personal, but, you know... The psalm is Psalm 146:9, so you know I didn't make this up, right? And so look, we can look at that. That's my handwriting. So it says Psalm 146:9. The Lord, the word Lord here is capital Lord. That means the I am that I am, the self-existent, eternal one, before duality, before time, before all of this came into existence. The I am that I am was there. And so it says this one that's above everything, hey, welcome, cares for the sojourners. He defends the fatherless and the widow. And then if you look up the widow is not just a person like that lost her husband. It's also a divorced woman, or a woman that's left without property and left without, if someone jilts her in a divorce and doesn't do the right thing, and she's left without means, and she had given up her means in order to stay with the kids or whatever, and anyway, God shows up. God shows up for that. So it's so awesome. And so it's kind of like, and I read in some mystic, let me see if it was this. It might have been this. It might have been this is a commentary from the 1300s, I think. I can't remember, 1100s, or I think 1300s for this, Blessed Theophylact. This is just John, but I have all four of the Gospels. They translate. Look at I love this thing so much. But anyway, one time he was talking about that we're widows because we left the husband of this world, which is the devil, which is the enemy, which is, you say, no, I'm not going to follow that pathway. I was thinking of that verse when Jesus said, Jesus is speaking, so he's not going, here's a verse. He's just speaking, right? It's so cool. He's always teaching us the highest level of how to operate, consciousness, love, whatever you want to call it. And so he says, where was I? Which part of it was I going that Jesus teaches us? Oh yeah. What does it profit a person? What does it profit you? Ask yourself this honestly. What does it profit you if you gain the whole freaking world, but lose your soul, right? If you are an eternal soul and you're meant to do soul things here and accomplish soul purposes here, like things that will last for all eternity, you're meant to play that out here, and you're running after a new car, you know what I mean? Or like some hot girl that's going to be next to you if you're a guy, or some, muscular guy that you can be like, hey, he's mine, like God is saying this. He's like, no, just be mine. Don't worry about that. Jesus said, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. Then all these other things will be added to as well. So you got to just trust. And it's so funny because I was like, God, why, blah, blah, blah. Why does it take so many years? And then he reminds me of Aragorn because I'm always reading The Lord of the Rings or listening to it. Here. I want to start playing my guitar because this is guitar practice time. Look at my Lord of the Rings, right? And Aragorn, hey, welcome. Aragorn in this is like 170 when he finally, or 150 or something when he finally gets to marry the love of his life. So have some patience. Anyway, so it says that the I am that I am. Hey, yeah. So I was just talking to an artist last night, but I'm gonna teach the song. He defends the sojourners. So when you leave your family of origin, this familiar path, and go to something higher, God's got your back. And when you, he defends the fatherless. When you leave the father of lies of this world and go for our true father and start trusting and having faith in something higher, a real love, that real love is real. You start being a widow. Don't make him your husband. Make God your husband. Like Christ is like the bridegroom or whatever, if you can understand that mystically and for real. Then it's like, Kierkegaard says the opposite of that syllogism is true. If you've gained your soul and you lose the whole world, what have you lost? You've absolutely nothing, right? You haven't lost anything. And so I was meditating on this, and then I had this revelation, like, God really has my back because I know he keeps his word. He says he'll do it, and he will. It says, as for the way of the ungodly, he turns it upside down. He makes short work of it. I looked it up in different translations. It was so, and Jesus said in the New Testament, I will not leave you orphanos. In the Greek, it's orphans. I won't leave you as orphans. I go and prepare a house for you. And it's, so that part of that verse, it says, he will overthrow the way of the wicked in this Psalm 146:9. You can look it up in all sorts of different translations. It's translated from the Hebrew. Hebrew is a picture language, and so it's so cool. But anyway, so I was meditating on this, and like the next day or a few days later, I woke up on a Saturday because I had this total shift. Like, I can walk without fear. I don't have to fear anything. I don't have to fear anyone or anything or losing anything or whatever. Like, it was really like, finally you take your hands off this plastic steering wheel that you thought you were driving, and you just surrender everything to the Creator and go, all right, I trust you. I got nothing to lose now because I've already lost everything, in all these different ways. Because, even if you had $1 billion in your bank account, you could keep being afraid of who's going to steal that from you, and you don't have peace. So it's like, it doesn't mean don't have that, because you can learn how to be a good steward of that. It says, if your riches increase, just don't set your heart upon them. Uncertain riches increase. And so I woke up and I started hearing, hey, welcome, this Billy Ocean, that's his name, right? Yeah, Billy Ocean song. Suddenly, life has new meaning to me. All right, so we're going to start practicing it. And then, because it goes like, there's beauty up above. When you come above all of this life and you stop looking at it from like within the storm, and like, no, there's beauty up above. And Dostoevsky says, in the end, the world will be saved by beauty. And so I'm like, how you can predict the future is how you're living in this present moment. You can't predict the future, but how you create a better future. Imagine if I learn how to be peaceful and surrendered in this moment, then I'm going to be peace. Like, I'm creating one more day, one more moment of peace. Like, so anyway, there's beauty up above and things I never took notice of, because you were in a fear mindset before that, right? And you didn't need to be, and you didn't know you didn't have to be. And then it's like, if Jesus says, I think it's like John 15, but he says like, I am the vine, you are the branches, or abide in my love, like stay in my love. He's like, suddenly you wake up and suddenly you're in love. Like, you're in love. You're not in love with some guy that might take off or not, like, we hope there are consistent men out there. I know there are, because my friends, have really good husbands and stuff like that. And women, that aren't just like, C.S. Lewis talks about that in the Four Loves. Like, some people get so addicted to just diving in the pool. They like the sensation of it, that they just get up and just keep diving into another relationship, because, everything's so quick fix these days. Everyone's just scrolling or buying plastic things from China or whatever. Not everything from China is plastic, but, fake plastic watering can and a fake Chinese rubber plant. Anyway, that's a Radiohead song, but so people aren't used to like working. When problems happen, you stay for a while. That was the song I did before, but anyway. So let's go into it. I didn't sing it yet, and I'm still learning the chords, because I played it once last week, but I didn't practice yet this week, and I think I practiced with my singing teacher a little bit. Let me do the chords for a second. Breath and let everything go. And you can pray yourself. If you pray at all, you can just say, God, if you're real, Like, help me know this real God who is love. It's First John says, for God is love. When you love, you know how God is, because God is love. So and Jesus says, remain in my love. So just like a lot of life is about, he says, don't let your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. And the word for that is like tarasso. Don't let it be pulled out of equanimity. Like God is teaching mindfulness. Jesus is teaching mindfulness in such a profound and deep way. It's so cool. It's so cool once you discover it, because then it's like, oh, I can do that. They're just borrowing from these timeless truths. And he'll also be the one working in you to help you get to this place. The Holy Spirit refines you. It's like the Holy Spirit fire. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but anyway. I'm trying not to be super, anyway, let's just, I used to think that love was just a fairy tale, until that first hello, until that first smile. But if I had to do it all again, I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause this love is everlasting. Suddenly, life has new meaning to me. There's beauty up above, and things we never take notice of. Wake up and suddenly you're in love. You're everything a man could want and more. 1,000 words are not enough to say what I feel inside. Holding hands as we walk along the shore. Never felt like this before. Now you're all I'm living for. Suddenly, life has new meaning to me. There's beauty up above, and things we never take notice of. You wake up, suddenly you're in love. Each day I pray this love that's here will last forever. Ooh, suddenly life has new meaning to me. There's beauty up above, and things we never take notice of. Wake up, suddenly you're in love. Oh, there's beauty up above, and things we never take notice of. You wake up and suddenly you're in love. All right, I didn't even know how to end it. Okay, so that's so cool. I don't know if you get the feeling and the understanding of how profound and amazing that song is now that you have somewhat of a context for it. So I'll go back because, I want to learn guitar more, and I really appreciate that you're here. Like, I appreciate, for me, it's like, okay, I set aside this time. It's just like when I roller skate, right? When I lace up my skates, it's like now I'm free to just skate, just be. You don't have to like add anything to it. And so like I have all these skating friends, and we don't know sometimes like if they have kids or what their jobs are or anything, or it doesn't matter how old we are or young or whatever, or like what skate tricks we know. Like we'll teach each other, we're all open about it, but it's just like you're just skating, and it's just like you're being in this flow. And so this is the flow of love. Like Dostoevsky said, in the end, the world will be saved by beauty. Well, perfect love is like the most beautiful thing. And you're not worshiping love. You're just, God is love. So John, the mystic disciple, said, beloved, let us all love one another, for love is of God. And everyone that loves is born of God. You're born out of God, and you know God, because God is love. Like I have this ring. We all come from this place of this oneness with God, and he puts us in this creation, and we're creative creatures. He's just saying, like, you plus me equals love. Like, I almost said it just like, screw the rest of the universe. Like, I'm not like that, not in a bad way, just like, bye, I don't mean it in any kind of bad way. I just mean like, it's not like that. So just pardon my French for a second. That's how we say it in the States sometimes. Like, not that I know that the French cuss so much, but I didn't mean to say anything like, but anyway, I've already apologized. All right. It's just like, let go of, when you are up, surrendered to God. It's just like, where's that verse that says, if God is for us, who can be against us? Right? Now, some people will go, yeah, God's for me. And that God's for me, like running all over you and like taking your goods and treating you like crap or whatever. It's like, no, God's not about that. But some people will say, well, you're treating me bad, poorly when you set a boundary, because demons do not like boundaries. Narcissists do not like boundaries. People, and they're just operating under this narcissistic influence, I don't like defining people and saying they are definitively a narcissist, but it's helpful to see, this is how the person's operating. When you keep giving yourself over to being a people pleaser, you yourself are really not a people pleaser. But when you keep letting that dominate in your life, if I kept letting drinking alcohol dominate in my life, that's why they say I'm an alcoholic, but you're really way more than that anyway. You're more than that. You're more than, even if I said like, I am anxious, it's like, no, I'm noticing anxiety. I am experiencing anxiety. I am not that. Latoya actually taught me this, Latoya Okia. She's like, you're declaring your divine self when you say like, I am, a child of the Most High God. I am redeemed by the blood of Jesus Christ. Like Jesus left heaven to come die for me, and he lived a perfect life, and he faced death because that's how people operated at that time. And so he knew they were going to, but he took all of the sins of the world upon himself so that we could be set free, and we can have these suddenly moments where we're like, wait, what? God really left heaven for me? Like he would have done that just for me? Hey, welcome. And so we'll go back to the beginning of that. Used to think that love was just a fairy tale, till that first hello, till that first smile. All right, and so I was friends with this musician, Elliott Smith. He's passed away now. And I'm not trying to name drop because I don't care about dropping names. Like, it doesn't, like, I got God on my side, the God that created the whole universe, that knows the names of every star. Like, that's who loves each of us, loves you. Jesus said, our Father. He's ours. He's all of ours, right? In a sense. And he calls us. He wants to give us redemption. But anyway, so suddenly you can wake up to, no, that means you. That means you. Right? But he has this song where he's like, it says something about love. You once talked to me about love. You painted pictures of Neverland. I could have gone to that place, but I didn't understand. I didn't understand. Oh my gosh, it breaks your heart when you listen to that song, right? So, my friend just made a video. It's premiering in a half hour. It says, your happiness irritates them. That's so true. Like, isn't that great that I got that notification? That's such a picture of how we inspire each other just by being obedient. Like that, my friend's doing her day job. Like I'm doing my day job right now. And I mean, she's monetized, so that's good. She gets paid for her day job. But, you know, I trust God. I'm on God's payroll, and she is too. And so she has this video that's coming out in a half hour, and it just gave me a notification because I forgot to put do not disturb on my phone. But it was like, yeah, your happiness irritates them because they can't pay you off. They can't tell you, you have to be a people pleaser or no one's going to like you. Guess what? I don't care if no one likes me. Like, I'm not going to turn into a people pleaser. And it's working out pretty well for me because then I don't have to be pulled into all this drama. You don't have to be pulled into all this toxic drama. You're like, I'm not losing sleep over that. Like, that's a job for Jesus. I'm going to give that to Jesus. I don't have to. Now look, if you're back in this thing where you're not experiencing Psalm 146:9 yet, where it's like, no, you don't know because you're not stepping out in faith that he's gonna protect you every time you feel like that vulnerable child again. Like, look, when you're a child, if they say my way or the highway, if you go against them, they'll leave you on the highway. So you feel like you're gonna get crushed. And so we can carry that same old feeling. And so when people start using you or trying to take your resources in a manipulative, controlling way or whatever, and you keep thinking, I'm the child and I have to please these parents, then you keep, letting them manipulate you and blackmail you or whatever else they're doing. You're giving them your resources and you're not setting a boundary. You're not saying no when God has called you to something higher than just pleasing them. But if you think you're this child, then you think, I better please them. And you go back into this pleasing mentality and you are not, you're meant for so much more than that, right? Suddenly, this isn't just a fairy tale. You heard a psychologist talking for free, not getting paid, giving my time because God, it says freely you have received, freely give. Now, I don't work for free all the time. I'm just doing this because I love you, all right? And I trust God, and he keeps providing for me. So he's my king. He's the king of all. He teaches us how to be kings and priests. And a king knows how to rule the land and steward the resources that have been given to you. Your psychological resources, your physical resources, right? Should I show my arms again? Like, I found another black and white shirt. Isn't that funny? Like, learn how to steward that. Be balanced, right? Not focus only on your body, but learn how to, like, this shirt is a small, and it's so big right now. Because I used to wear it before, and I thought I'm only keeping smalls and extra smalls, and it's so weird because I just lost 60 pounds. So it's really strange, but it's like just from walking, not from taking that stuff. I have every calorie on my watch, like accounted for that, because I was working with this trainer for $150 a month. God knew that I wanted someone that was committed to whatever. But anyway, I had to show him a picture of everything I ate. So it was all there, all the calories, all the working out, all the 2.5 hours on an incline treadmill, 3 days a week. But anyway, so, but I don't have to prove anything. And so, yeah, your happiness, because you're in joy. You're not in this temporary circumstantial happiness. You're in this real joy because you're like, wait a second, I'm stepping out, leaving this old familiar, and it feels like I'm a sojourner. It feels like, when you go, like I went to Austria, and I'd only been there one day before in my life because the train broke down when we were in Austria one time when I was younger. But I was by myself traveling then. But I wanted to go see the Christmas markets because you have this old idea that it is like a fairy tale, and there's all these old, my grandparents were German, and so they speak German in Austria. And I just thought that, there'd be like all these old cuckoo clocks and like, and they did have, like food just like my grandparents would have, like sauerkraut and stuff like that, and salty pretzels and but when you're in a strange land, everything's new, so you're really aware. So it's really cool because you get really, really deeply present sometimes because it's all new to you. And it was so cold in December, let me tell you, in Salzburg. That's where I was, right? Yeah. I remember because I loved Maria von Trapp. But anyway, and so this is what it feels like internally, psychologically, when you leave the familiar. You feel like, but it says, look, the I am that I am, careth for. And look at the words I have over here. It's up here, but I'll just read them. It says, he watches over, he protects, preserves. Shomer in Hebrew. I learned a song in college. It was like, Henelo yenu velo yeshon. Lo yenu velo yeshon, henelo yenu velo yeshon, shomir Yisrael. It's shomer is the word for the one that watches, over Israel. He that watches over Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. God doesn't need sleep, So it was like the one main thing, and I'm not recommending the Twilight movies per se, but my guitar teacher had a song in the first one, so but the one, and I don't recommend opening any spiritual doors to any kind of real spiritual vampires or otherwise, but whatever, and I do mean that, but I liked that they didn't have to sleep because I had a newborn at the time and I was so sleep deprived. And I was like, God, if you could just give me someone that could hold my baby and love my baby and stand all night. Not a vampire though, preferably no. But anyway, so God is way better than this. Like, he never has to sleep. God is beyond he and she. Psalm 27:10. When my mother and father forsake me, the I am that I am picks me up. He picks me up. All right. If you need a little pick me up, go straight to the I am that I am. Right? And I'm not just saying that, but you don't know God until you spend time and you read the word, and that's his love letter to you, and you trust him for little things, and then you grow in trust, and you, like what Latoya says, beast mode for the kingdom of God. You start letting go of other things and stop going. What is it going to profit us if we go to these old toxic patterns that we knew before, that our parents gave us when there's so much more love that God wants to show you. But anyway, and so, it's like Eliot. I quoted him in my dissertation, and he asked me, he's like, can I have a copy of your dissertation? I'm like, sure, can I quote you in it? Because I already quoted him in it. But they were still approving it. It had to go back and forth. I had to FedEx it so many times back then because they wouldn't. Anyway, it was just, it's a long story. I don't have to go into dissertation story. And so it's talking about how you develop your identity, your image of God. That was my dissertation on your relationship with your father and your mother, but mostly your father. Like, I was reviewing all the literature on that, all the psychological studies on that. But I think the quote I have of Elliot saying, God don't make no junk. But he continued. He's like, but it's plain to see. He still made me. I told you so. I'm ready to go, And so he had this, misunderstanding of his real worth. But he had a really deep understanding of his worth at the same time. He was like one of the most conscious people I'd ever met. Ever. And he woke me up to so much more truth, because he didn't judge me because I had like been a cheerleader in high school or something. But, I looked pretty alternative when I was around him, but because I kind of grew out of that. But it doesn't matter. Like that doesn't define you. I wanted to encourage people. That's why I went into that. You're cheering people on because life can be so heavy sometimes when you experience loss and trauma and depression and anxiety and all the other stuff that can come with, like all the John Hughes movies that we know from the 80s. But that's because so the Lord careth for, he watches over, shomer. There's a really deep meaning of the word Yisrael. It means like he was Jacob before, one who is deceived or deceiving. Yisrael, El is God. God has straightened out. God has made straight. God has caused you to hear the truth of real love. Like that's the symbolic meaning of this. I'm not talking about anything political that's going on at all. Because, but anyway, so he watches over, the Lord watches over the sojourners, the people that dare to go to this new place. He defends the fatherless that dare to leave the father of this world and go to the true Father that sent his only son, that chose to die. Jesus says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that we should not perish, but have everlasting life, that whoever believes in him will not perish, but have everlasting life. That's like when people hold up that sign for John 3:16 is because they're trying to tell you the main good news out of all of that. It's like someone did what Prince said, like, I would die for you, darling, if you want me to, you. I would die for you. I'm not your lover. I'm not a friend. I'm not just your friend, right? I'm something that you'll never comprehend. Your mind can never comprehend the vastness of how deep this love is for you. How deep is your love and your love for me? How deep? I really need to learn, 'cause we're living in a world of fools, breaking us down when they all should let us be. I don't do shoulds, but they all ought to let us be. We belong to you and me. And then I got the other day, this is what's coming to me after that. It's like, making love out of nothing at all. Making love. That's what God did. It's called in Hebrew, tohu wavohu. He made the whole universe out of what seems like nothing at all, out of his own self, right? Look at them. See, the dog's just still there. She's just chilling. That's how we can be once we know this love and we abide in this love. It seems like just a fairy tale because, they go through all these hardships and Beauty and the Beast and like, what? This beast, I think he's going to take me, and the beast is so mean at first. And then, he softens up. I'm not just talking about, the Disney rendition of it, but it's like read the book in the Grimm's fairy stories or whatever, They learn how to just be. And then it's like God loves the beast out of us. He refines us through this holy fire, and we let go of just following our beast-like nature because he loves us where we are. He goes for the lost, the lonely, the left out. Like this, he careth for, he watches over the sojourners, those who dare to leave the way of their parents, any toxic way that our parents taught us, come up higher, right? He defends the fatherless, those that you feel like, well, I'm going to be left by everyone. I'm going to be a child again, and I'm going to be, the enemy tries to pretend, the world will pretend like, if you don't have this bag, if you don't have this, fancy whatever, if you don't have this facial cream, then you're nothing, and it's just like, no, Everything is nothing to me. Everything means nothing to, and you're not a nihilist, you're just, you let go of things because that's not, like, what you really want to spend your whole life running after those things? Like, what does it say? There's like some proverb that says better is a meal of vegetables where peace is than a giant feast where there's quarreling and strife. Well, this quarreling and strife can be in you because you're running after all these things and trying to please these people. And when you do that, you perpetuate this idea that you're still fatherless and I have to make them be a good father by trying to please them or figure out what they want today, and they're just changing all the time. And it's like, all right. And the widow, those who are left by the husband of this world. Like, I had to lose so many boyfriends in high school. It was more like in college because I wouldn't sleep with people and they would just go to girls that would. So I was like, oh, well, all right, there goes another one, same as it ever was, Anyway, whatever. And anytime that happened, I would eventually I'd be like, oh, I'm so glad that I didn't sleep with that person because look, their character just got shown, revealed. There, by their fruit you will know them. I mean, that got a little personal, but anyway. So anyway, I used to think that love was just a fairy tale. It's just the only happily ever after could come in a fairy tale. But fairy tales are expressing these eternal realities. And when you pray the Our Father, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. You're bringing heaven down to earth and you experience this bit of heaven. Just like heaven. The cure, right? They're singing about heaven and it's the cure. Like, this is the cure for your neuroticism. And this verse has it all. He defends. He cares for the strangers. He defends. And I looked up defends. It says right here, it upholds them and sets them upright. Like, I can't see the bottom. Like, yeah, Jesus said, I will not leave you orphans. So he sets them upright, the fatherless and the widows. This abandoned child in us, that's what I wrote, unprotected. We feel unprotected or landless, husbandless. He's more than that. He's more than all of that. And as for the way of the ungodly, those who don't look to him when that part of us doesn't look, he turns that upside down because he shows you it's upside down. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. I could talk a lot about upside down, but anyway. So I used to think I did that love was just a fairy tale until that first hello. When it says, I am my beloved's and he is mine. And so this, instead of hell, you start experiencing God saying hello. You see that Jesus is real. Like, all these people, are coming to Jesus. They call it a coming to Jesus moment. They're not making it up. It's really, they encounter this living, loving one, until that first hello. They're not making it up. I'm not making it up, but I can't. It's not my job to convince you. I just tell you, that's my experience. You can't take away my experience. And I'm not cray-cray. I'm not imagining it, Let's see if that's, hold on. Okay, that's the second fret. So until that first hello. Till that first smile. Man, when you saw Elliot smile back in the day, it just lit up the room. He was so funny. He's so funny. And he's so deep and he had to walk through so much. And so when you just saw him genuinely smiling, you just wanted to smile with him, Anyway. That's how you are with your child when your baby first smiles, Those are just pictures of God's face when he's smiling on you and saying, no, this is for you. This redemption thing is for you. Like, you can be forgiven of all your sins, every way you miss the mark of perfect love. Like, just come to me and I'll wash you clean, right? And I'll show you the way to walk in this path of holiness. And you can leave the old. But you have to like detox, because you get a high from returning to the vomit, because it looks like there's food in that vomit, but it's vomit. Like, I recommend not. Till that first, I pray, God, just show up for them. Give them the hello through me today. That's he is giving it to you right now. Till that first hello. Till that first smile. I gotta get back in tune for this song. If I had to do it all again, I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause this love is everlasting. It's everlasting love, right? Suddenly, life has new meaning to me. All right, and so C.S. Lewis talks about, okay, so Jesus said in John 10:10, the enemy comes to off us and to steal from us and just to destroy us. But Jesus says, but I've come to give you life, in that same verse. And life abundantly, this abundant life. And he uses the word in Greek, Zoe. It's not bios life. What is this Zoe life? And so I have this book that I carry in my bag down there. And my bag says suddenly on it. It's so cool. But C.S. Lewis, Mere Christianity, he says that, he says God wants to give us this Zoe life, to take us up into it. Now, some people, like Saint Athanasius in the 300s or so, he said, God became man so that man could become God. It's called theosis. So he wants to theosify you. He wants to turn you like God, like our Creator. He wants to give you this Zoe life you needed in order, anyway. So it's like suddenly this Zoe has new meaning to me. This life that I thought I had to be like, everybody's working for the weekend. Everybody wants a new romance. That's our flesh. Our flesh wants that. There's nothing wrong. God made us to desire these things. They just are not meant to run your life. I have a quote upstairs on my desk. It says, I did on a post-it note. I don't know if it fell by now, but it said, the degree to which you are addicted to anything is the degree that you'll step on another person to get that thing, and so you're worth more than addictions. You're worth freedom. So it's like, all right, hopefully. Suddenly, life has new meaning to me. There's beauty up above. So go above the circumstances. And don't keep thinking that you're in lack. You're not a child anymore. Look in the mirror and go, look, if you're over 13, you're not a child in some sense of the word. Like, that's when people would become adults in some different cultures over time. And so it's like, there's beauty up above, and things we never take notice of. Like, look. Hey, welcome. You can look outside. I know there's the light right there, but I look at just the leaves, the wind blowing in the leaves. And it's like you're animated. You're animated with this glittery stuff inside. It's just like the wind in the leaves. It's just like you have access to this. Jesus said, I am the vine, you are the branches. Apart from me, you can't do anything apart from, and he says, you are the light of the world, and I am the light of the world. He says that. And so it's like, be in this light, be in this love. And God will teach you how. It's like, I can just talk about it, but anyway. There's beauty up above and things we never take notice of. You wake up from that sleep that you were in before. What's E says for? It's like you wake up suddenly. You're in love. All right, so like even that, like look, if you were playing that part, that chord looks like this, okay? E7. You wake up, suddenly. No, it's like this. That's it. Suddenly. See the difference? Watch if I just move this finger down here. You wake up, and suddenly. See how that's off? You have a knowing. You can know. God created you in his image and likeness. So just trust. You have a knowing. Now, it gets trained the wrong way sometimes in childhood, just like if they trained you to be prejudiced against certain people of certain colors so you could, in the moment, feel like you're superior. That's just an ego boost. Like, I have this whole list right here of like what the ego wants. The ego wants to stand out, to be special, moral superiority, to have more, to do more, to be in control. This need for power, for attention, to feel a sense of separation, for opposition, for enemies. Like it even wants to sometimes think of ourselves as a victim, you know, even though we do experience, you know, negative things sometimes. But that's Eckhart Tolle. That's from The Power of Now. I wrote down all these things, but so your parents could have taught you to be that, and you're just like on the playground and you're 7 and you're like, do I care that this person has a different color skin than me? No, we're swinging on the swings. We're going to go roller skating. We're playing. You know, it doesn't matter. And so you wake up suddenly to a higher form of love. And everything's not love is love is love. Everything's not love. It doesn't, look, I was taught by my C.S. Lewis professor. He's like taught philosophy. You don't go, look, my leg is free. It can go in 360 directions. No, it works best when I'm running like this and walking like this. It's not meant to go backwards, you know? He talked about, there was this football player named Joe Theismann, and his leg like popped up and out, this thigh bone or I don't know, but whatever, in the middle of a football game, a live football game. And he didn't go, look, my leg is free. You know, no, it's like, and I was teaching my child this the other day, you know, it's like a bicycle is meant to be ridden like a bike. If I'm walking around just holding a bike over my head all the time, I'm not using the bike in the best way that it's meant. It's meant to be ridden, and you get places faster by riding a bike. It's not meant to just be looked at, or, you know, you're walking and you're holding it. You're not, you know, it's just like, be a good steward of what's been given to you. All right, I gotta go soon. All right, so let's keep going. So they're like, real love isn't just arbitrary, subjective, whatever I say it is. You know, C.S. Lewis talks about it in a book called The Abolition of Man. It's like, no, the waterfall actually is sublime. It's not, well, I think it's ugly. It's not. It's sublime. And so align with what is. But you all have a knowing. So you have a knowing. That's what I was saying with this note. When I go, wake up, and here's the note. It goes like here. Suddenly. Listen if I play it like this. Suddenly. Or if I try to play it like this. Suddenly. No, this is the other suddenly. Suddenly. Life has new. So, C.S. Lewis talks about it in Mere Christianity. Like, the notes are like moral law, and you want to play them to make a beautiful song. Like yes, they're there, but you don't just play them arbitrarily. But there are different songs to play. But anyway, there's beauty up above. Oh yeah, and things we never take notice of. Wake up suddenly. You're in love. man, right? God, the divine love that pulls us up into himself, makes us like him. You're everything a human could want and more, right? Because you're leaving the duality of, the black and white of this, of hot, cold, better, worse, superior, inferior. Like, God is just love. God is above that. And he teaches you how to love from that place so that you're not beholden to any man, but you're everything a person could want and more. 1,000 words are not enough. They're not enough. 1,000 words in a song or whatever, they're not enough to say what I feel inside. Whoops, inside. See, you can tell when it's on. What I feel, and I'm talking about not just your everyday feelings, but you get this knowing feeling, that's this knowing in your heart, in your gut. I got this knowing. Wait, 1,000 words, because God is so beyond words. Words are so limiting when it's talking about this divine love that wants to love you and set you free. And look, your happiness irritates them. It's going right now. Prophetic word. All right, and so because people can be like crabs in a bucket. They're so used to just complaining with you and gossiping with you and drinking with you or being stuck in addictions with you or being in this lack mentality with you. When you climb out of it, it's like they keep trying to pull you down because misery loves company. Elliot sang this song, "Do you miss me? Miss misery?" Do you miss the misery that we created together? I'm not living in that place anymore. I'm going beyond it, And so sometimes, when I lost the 60 pounds, it irritated some people because they think that just because I lost almost 1/3 of my body, that I'm looking at them and judging them, and I'm not. I can't believe that a way opened up for me to finally do that naturally. I've been only wanting to do it for 20 years, right? And I have an alarm that's going to go off in 4 minutes, so I got to wrap this up. But anyway, 1,000 words are not enough to say what I have, this knowing, this feel inside. Upside down. Boy, you turn me inside out, round and round. He's upside down. God is bringing us to this higher place. But holding hands as we walk along the shore. I smile at that part. Holding hands as we walk along the shore. I think of the Lord is my shepherd, therefore I lack nothing. He leads me on paths of righteousness. He leads me to quiet waters, these still waters along that shore. And it says a good shepherd, sheep would get afraid of water because they're so furry. They have this big fur that if they got wet, they'd be pulled downstream. And so a good shepherd would cut out a little rivulet for them. And so God does that. He teaches us slowly how loving he really is, right? That's why it's not just, so all of a sudden, this forced awakening that some of us have because someone dies or something. When Elliot died, it was horrible. Anyway, so holding hands, I'm it's just God saying, be mine as we walk along the shore. I never felt like this before because I kept looking for it in this earthly realm and thinking I had to keep looking for it there, that this everlasting one wasn't there. And that will teach me how to love aright here and how to appreciate love more here. Never felt like this before. Now you're all I'm living for. It's this one. Suddenly life has new meaning to me. There's beauty up above and things we never take notice of. Wake up suddenly. You're in love. Right? Each day I pray this love, and I changed it instead of a love affair, because that's people go from one to another. They want to jump in that pool again. This love affair. Hold on, let me see if I can turn it. Hey, welcome. All right, so it just said 2 more. I had to turn this alarm off, and so it says this love affair. I just changed it to this love that's here, because it's more than just jumping into a pool. They like the experience in the 4 loves. C.S. Lewis talks about people they get addicted to that euphoria of diving in a new pool, because they don't want to do the work of, you got to do your inner work, because real relationships bring up your pain, but you're not your pain. You're not your past. You're not whatever's coming up. So the more you know how to identify with your real essence, not your present day personality, programmed, acquired, accumulated self, you're not that. You can face anything, because you're with Lauren Hill sings, adjacent to the king, fear no human being. Anyway. Each day. And when you start experiencing with God, you start praying. You're like, I pray this love that's here, or love affair, will last forever. And when you're having some kind of I found this new person, and you get this loving experience, that's just a taste of how the divine is. And so you want that love to last forever. And then you try control and manipulation and try to make it. And it's like, no, just if both of you are plugged into this love, then think how well this love can work, right? Because you're plugged into the source. So it will last. You'll always be loving towards that person. I was just thinking of a song from Greece. I don't think it's Hopelessly Devoted. We're always, that's what, be together. Ching ching, shamalama bing bang, whatever it's like. And we'll always be together. It doesn't mean we're going to be married in heaven, because Jesus says we won't be married to one another in heaven. But we'll always be in such a higher love. It's a higher love than that. Bring me a higher love. Steve Winwood wrote that. Think about it. There must be higher love down in your heart, or hidden in the stars above. Without it, life is wasted time. Look inside your heart, and I'll look inside mine. That's the other song I got, not that song, but I was getting the power of love. It's like, don't need money. You don't need money for this. Don't take fame. Don't need no credit card to ride this train. Yes. How does it go? Strong, and it's sudden, like this. It's sudden. That's really these lyrics. It can be cruel sometimes, only because you're misunderstanding it. Because it's cruel. Like, we think it's cruel to put a horse out of its misery, but if its leg is always going to be lame like before, when they didn't know how to heal it, then it's less cruel to just but. It's cruel sometimes, because people set boundaries and hey, I'm not gonna, you don't get to be part of my life if you're gonna keep operating that way and treating me like valueless, Not that I get my value from you, but I know my value, and that ain't it. And so step up, or whatever. And so it can be cruel when it sets the boundaries, but it might just save your life. Might just save your Zoe life, your real life. I was gonna get to that, but I didn't have time. So anyway, suddenly. I pray that this love affair, this love that's here, will last forever, because it can. This is what Jesus wants to give you forever. Love you forever. There's a cute song with, I think Ed Sheeran's in that. He sings it with this other woman named Christina something, I think. I think that's who sings it. But anyway. Suddenly, life has new meaning to me. Because you have a real me. You're not this old personality self. There's beauty up above, and things we never take notice of. Wake up suddenly, you're in love, real love. And then he just repeats that. There's beauty up above, and things we never take notice of. wake up and suddenly you're in love. All right. Like, I was born the day before Valentine's. You think that God brought me here on the right day? Like, I'm always looking for that next day when St. Valentine, he embodied that love. It's not just for cards and stuff. It's because we're meant to walk in this love. I want to be in the light as you are in the light. Want to shine like the stars in the heavens. Oh Lord, be my light and be my salvation. All I want is to be in the light of love. That's a song. If there's such a thing but as an inner peace, if there is, then I want to be. That's a song by this artist named Charlie Peacock. And I love this other part of one of his songs that goes, I've got the notion, love is devotion, not just emotion. No more illusion, no more confusion, found my solution. Yeah, he sings it so well. And this guy sings it. He's no longer with us either, but sings it with him. Vince something. I've got the notion, love is devotion, and you're not devoted to trying to please another person. Thank God you're free of that. You're free of trying to please your own present day personality egotism self. You don't need it. Don't need to operate that way no more, right? So I got a home in that rock, don't you see? There's a woman named Dutzy Rose that sings this. I got a home in that rock, can't you see? I got a home in that rock just beyond mountaintop. I got a home in that rock, can't you see? She's like, Jesus Christ is that rock, can't you see? I grew up in Dallas, I can do my accent. Jesus Christ is that rock, can't you see? Jesus Christ is that rock, just beyond the mountaintop. I got a home in that rock, can't you see? I carry him, I'm carrying right now. He's my peace, my P-E-A-C-E, and what Latoya said in one of her videos, and my peace, right? Because watch out, here I come. Watch out, here I come. That's when adjacent to the king, if you're no human being. Like, how do you think David could be so bold against the Goliath, against the giant? How do you think we could be so bold against? Jesus says in Luke 10:19, I give you authority, all authority to step on serpents and scorpions and put them under your feet. Well, that can be the big addictions that you used to have in your life, and the little ones that would sneak in your shoe and try to sting you and poison you and try to take away your life and drain you. You don't have to be beholden to those, and you don't have to be beholden to any kind of reptilian serpent energy, or whatever you want to call it. Lower your reptile brain, even like the just survival brain mentality. There's so many different levels I could speak on that, but it's like, no, I step on serpents and scorpions, and you go under my feet because I'm covered by the blood of Jesus Christ. Talk to the hand. All right, and so anyway, there's beauty. Plato says that all learning is just remembering, and C.S. Lewis talks about it like these are the shadowlands. That's the real thing. So there's beauty up above, but we're meant to live it and shine it and be it. All right, so be in love, and suddenly your life will have new meaning. I hope it does after this, but that's up to you. Go discover what I'm talking about. I'll give you something to talk about love. I got to see her one night. She showed up. She was just backstage. She came out with like no makeup on and sang. I think I was at an Emmylou Harris show, just a little place. Maybe, I don't think it was at Largo. Anyway, all right, much love, everyone. Thanks for being here.